what you've been listening to is part of a tune that I composed yesterday, and it's called Medieval Theme. And today I'm going to do a breakdown of the whole composition and mix for you. So this melody got into my head, and I immediately knew that it should be played by a solo violin. And it should be something medieval themed. It just sounded to me like that. So let's take a look at the main melody here. So this is where it all started. I didn't want to use some huge library for it, like huge solo violin library. So I decided to take the first chair violin from LA Scoring Strings, which was quite good enough for me. When I sang the melody back to myself, I immediately start repeating it, kind of an echo. So I decided to use that as a repetition of the violin, but the second melody should be played with a cello. So they both together sound like this. So as you can see, they're both from LA Scoring Strings, first chair violin and first chair cello. I panned them, violin a little left and cello a little right. So for processing, I used a mild compression and 2 different reverbs. Let's listen to it without processing and then with it. And now with. Okay, so as you can see, for dynamics, I'm using the LA2A from UAD. I'm grabbing it pretty heavy. So for the reverbs, I'm using basically 2 almost the same reverbs. This is the first one. It's the old Lexicon chamber, and I'm using the medium chamber. And then after that, I'm using the newer LXP native chamber by Lexicon, and I'm using large chamber, and together they sound fantastic. So again, and without. Okay, so this is the main melody. The next thing I did were drums. I first tried some patterns from Stylus RMX, but I didn't like anything. It didn't work really. I wanted this theme to be non-epic, not so much in your face. I wanted to be subtle, more like a TV theme kind of thing. So I took some samples of mine and created a beat that you see here. So let's listen to the rhythm section solo. Okay, so let's hear everything that's in that. I started with a shaker, Installers RMX. That's the shaker. I added this reverb. This is without, and this is with. And I broke some notes so it's not so sterile. So this is how it sounds like. I'm sorry, like this. Okay, next thing is a kick. This is my first kick. It's an orchestral kick. I layered it with timpani. As you can see, I also added some dynamic in velocity. And then I layered it again with the mid-tone, a mid-tone from acoustic drums. So together they sound like this. And with shaker, next drum would be a mid-tone again. It's bent in different direction and it's tuned differently. This is the tom with the kick, and this is the tom that plays separately. Then I have the first taiko drum. And then high tom. Now this high tom sample from acoustic drums is tuned way higher. This is its natural tone and I'm having it here. The next thing would be another taiko drum. Okay, so let's listen to all this together now, without going further. Okay, already sounds like a good rhythm. Let's turn this off, and this is the first snare. Okay, this is the next taiko drum. A lot of stuff going on in here. This is another kick, but it's not synced with the other kicks. So it's very ambient orchestral kick. This is another shaker. Okay. Another snare. And another shaker. Okay, and the last one. So basically I have 4 shakers, 1, 2, 3, and the one in RMX is 4. So let's listen to all the drums together. Here we go. Okay, let's listen to them with and without processing. I'm gonna turn on the processing somewhere in the middle. Okay. So let's see everything that is going on in here on the mixer channel. I start with UAD Neve. I drive it a little bit. The highs are not touched. Mids are scooped a little bit in 700 Hertz region, and I'm pushing just a little bit of the 60 Hertz, and I have a filter under the 50 Hertz. The next thing is my beloved transient shaper. Let's listen without and with. So very lightly adding the transients or magnifying the transients if you want. Then I have the SSL G-Bus compressor. Again, it's barely touching the whole thing. Then to glue it all even more, I have a Fairchild. Again, very, very lightly touching, plus the mix knob is on 50%, so it's not even mixed the full percent, it's in parallel compression. Then I'm using the BX control just to add the stereo width. Okay, I'll turn it on and off so you can hear the difference. This is off. Okay, so as you can hear, it's huge difference in the sound. And at the end, I wanted these drums to be very subtle, so I pushed them way down in the mix. But even then, it wasn't enough, so I wanted to soften them more, and that's when I added the Valhalla shimmer. I wanted the shimmer reverb as a glue of everything, so everything swims a little bit. So let's listen. You see, it's a very long shimmer reverb at the end of everything. So okay, that's drums. What else do we have here? The next thing in this chorus are spiccato strings that sound like this. Now, as you can see, this is a very, very simple melody. I originally created way more complex pattern, but at the end I noticed that it bothers me. I had to remove it, and I wanted the spiccato or staccato strings in it, but I realized it needs to be very, very simple. So let's listen just to spiccato and the main melody. It works very, very nicely nice together. The spiccato strings are not processed very differently from the original melody. I have the LA2A on it, and lexicon chamber, a large chamber, which is, as far as I remember, the same one as on the main melody. It's just a little less mix. Let me hear the spiccato. And that's it. The next thing are tutti chords. So I could use one long note or two long notes overall, but with that I just created some dynamics. And this library, let's see the library. Oh, by the way, the spiccato strings are this one from Berlin String series, and the tutti chords are from Sina.org sample library, and they're done the way the library is done is on lower velocity. The long notes are played, and on higher velocity it's a staccato. So this is what happens here in this arrangement. We have a long note and staccato, silence, and then again staccato, long note, staccato. So it sounds like this. So together with the main melody, it gets very lost in the mix, right? So the next thing are low strings. Now, as you can hear, they're played in octaves. I think it's this thing here. Right, these are low strings from Berlin series. And as I said, they're played in octaves. Let me just check where this all is routed. Yeah, so the low strings are routed to the same channel as spiccato, and the tutti chords are routed to the same channel as the main melody. Then we have a brass swell, and it's routed to its own channel, and it's only lightly compressed. The brass swell is from Symphobia. It's brass low crescendo. So this is how it sounds like. Let me see here. So it's just basically an attention getter, right? Nothing more here. In verses more stuff appears. I'll show you that. Basically in second part of the chorus more stuff appears. So first of all, here's a harp. Again, very simple melody. Let's listen to it a bit like that. So harp, let's listen to it with and without processing. This is without, and this is with. So this is my favorite compressor with everything that has stronger transients, stronger attacks, like piano and acoustic guitars and so on. So I used it here on harp, and it's again the lexicon chamber, but this time the medium chamber. Okay, what else do we have here? So I think these are two main violins, string sections actually. This is the first one, and this is the second one. Let's see what we've used. So the first one is from Orchestral Essentials. It's the string section from it, and the second one is from Berlin Strings. Again, the whole ensemble. Let's listen to each one of them. And the second one. Together. And with the main melody. So what they're doing is basically just exiting they give it an accent. This is the right term. They give the accent to the main melody in the background. They route it to the same channel as spiccato strings and low strings. So let's listen to everything except this part, and I'll explain this part extra. So this is now everything except this. Okay. This was the second part of the chorus, and this is the first part where the big strings are not following yet. So it's a little bit emptier. Now, I was still missing something, and I didn't want more instruments and more orchestra in it. It's already almost too full for a TV theme. I didn't want it to sound epic. So for a TV theme, I needed something, some kind of sound effects, but an instrument sound effects. So I find two things here. Let's listen to them solo. So that's it. This is the first one, and this is the second one, and it was perfect. I found both of them in Omnisphere. First is bowed acoustic guitar evil note, and second one is the arrangement over the piano. Great. Let's listen to what they do to the whole thing. Be aware of this note and this note here. See? And this is what I was missing. So later on, I needed some plucked instrument next to the harp. Harp is already playing this, right? So I wanted a plucked strum, so I used a nylon acoustic guitar, and I didn't want to use some huge sample library, so I just loaded up one in sample tank. And it sounds like this. Where is it? Where are you? Here. And that was all I needed. It's routed here, and all it has on it is H delay. Let's listen to it with and without. Without. And with. Right, so it's a very simple delay set in ping pong and with a little low pass filter on repetitions, and that's it. And this is all I'm using in the chorus 1 and chorus 2. So let's go see the verses. So everything here is pretty similar to the chorus. I removed the snare here, and I added this brass wall that we listened before. But the rest is pretty much the same. And of course the lead melody is missing. Verse number 2, similar thing. Here in low strings, no, that's okay. What I added to the end of the second verse is this cymbal roll. Because from this verse it goes into much quieter bridge. Let's listen to the transition from the verse to the bridge. Okay, so see why I needed this cymbal roll. The bridge, this is the bridge. It starts with the plucked nylon guitar, right? The whole rhythm section is removed with the exception of all the shakers. Shakers are in. The harp is playing this weird thing here. Spiccato is still here, and the low strings, I think. Right. Right. And the bridge 2 gets a little bit of rhythm back. But the low strings are removed and the harp starts playing again in a full melody. So from this bridge we come back to the chorus. That's why I use a timpani roll here at the end. And this mid-tone has a roll. Let's listen to it. Where are you? Here. Very simple. And of course the cymbal roll. Now we already saw the processing for the drums. Here's the processing for the cymbal roll. It's 1176 from Universal Audio. It's the lighter version of that plugin. Let's listen from the bridge to the chorus again. So, here we go. That's about it. This is all the instruments and samples I used. This was the whole processing trick. It's really, really easy without any overcomplicating things. As I said, I didn't want it to sound epic at all. I wanted it to be subtle and more as a background theme. So thank you and bye-bye.